What's up, Men's Physique fans? We are back with another video, and for the past few weeks, the entire Men's Physique community has been asking ourselves one thing. Is the hype behind IFBB Pro Dan real, or is it fake? And the results are in. And did this NPC competitor even prep to step on stage? Or did he purposely plan to show up out of shape? We have a lot to discuss. Let's get into it.
Grapevine, but I ain't hearing nothing great. No, they wanna take it all from me, so I give what it takes. Whole life been a miracle, seen everything but a cape. Why would I stop now? Found everything on a journey, but another way. Look, I'm not.
The Tri-City Classic has officially wrapped up. We have a new 2024 Olympian qualified athlete in Clarence McSpadden. He will be stepping on stage in Las Vegas in October for the fourth time after missing the Olympia just last season. It's amazing to see this man back at it again in the winner's circle, going back to the Mr. Olympia. Now, the one thing that I have to emphasize about Clarence, he is Mr. Consistent. He is somebody who shows up consistently in shape and consistently within a 5% best version of himself. And because of that, this man never misses the first call outs. And because of that, this man is oftentimes battling out for that top spot to qualify for the Olympia at any show that he does. When it comes to the package that Clarence brought to Tri-City, it's safe to say it was a much improved version from the package that he brought to prejudging at finals. And for those of you who are unaware, 90% of shows when it comes to the IFBB for Men's Physique are decided at prejudging. But when it comes to Charlotte, he brought a significantly improved package at finals. So we knew that if he were to bring that finals look, or even just a little better when it comes to Tri-City, the chances are this would be his show. And he did just that, and he is now qualified for the Olympia. Clarence has always been somebody to do multiple shows throughout the given competitive season. And with this early win, I really hope to see him shut it down and put a lot of emphasis on progressing and growing his weaknesses to be just that much more competitive come the Olympia stage. Again, Clarence is dominant from the front. His obliques, his roundness, his shoulders, his just general pop is always there. But if he can work on that back, bring up the width, the thickness and density through that back, then Clarence would be one of the most complete Men's Physique athletes at any given show, making him just that much harder to beat. So with the time that he has from now until the Olympia, I hope he does just that, because I'm telling you guys now, if Clarence can bring up some of his weaknesses, good luck to anybody stepping on stage with him. But again, congratulations to Clarence McSpadden for winning the 2024 Tri-City Classic and punching his ticket to the Olympia. And coming in at second place and just missing his Olympia qualification, we have the rookie sensation in Travis Yao, who has yet another sensational showing as a rookie pro. And this is absolutely insane. Again, for those of you who are unaware of how great of a start to this season or a career this is for a rookie, it's something that truly does not happen consistently. We might have seen it happen with people like Aaron Banks, but now look where he is, right? Again, Travis has now done 2 shows and placed 5th and now 2nd and becomes this close to qualifying for the Olympia. Travis has a very bright future. Now, the best thing about Travis's package here at Tri-City is that he was extremely balanced from front to back, which is why I truly believe he was in this conversation to win this show. When Travis faces the back, I truly believe he can stand with anybody. He has erectors going from the top to the bottom, and truly that general thickness that typically comes with time, but he has at such an early time in his career, putting him in the conversation at any show simply just based off of that. Now, with that being said, there are some self-inflicted wounds that I truly believe Travis did have this show that I believe he can fix very easily going into future shows, which is simply his midsection control. For those of you who know Ben Quill, his coach, you all know he is somebody who's a master at posing. And when you can hear him on the live stream yelling to fix and breathe down on his midsection, you know that was something that really stood out to him and likely the judges as well. But when Travis did do just that, you saw his physique completely change. And again, there's something that just simply comes with time, being on stage more. And again, being in that conversation when emotions are high, you want to make sure that you can control them as much as possible. And I truly believe that those little details add up. When you have a veteran like Clarence staring next to you, battling it out for that win, he's been up there. He knows what it feels like. He knows what he needs to do, and he knows what he needs to control. And again, I truly believe that's something that Travis can easily fix going into future shows, which I do hope to see him next week at the Wasatch Warrior. And if you take a look at this lineup, you can definitely see that Travis's tan was a little bit off. So if he fixes that, comes in a little bit darker, I truly believe that's going to help amplify his already crazy conditioning. And again, just kind of complete the package in total. So like I said, two small things that are easily fixed. And I believe if he does that, he will just truly maximize his potential at these future shows. Now, it won't be easy. He's going to be going against some really good competitors moving forward, but yet and still, I truly believe he's going to be in the conversation at all of these shows. And before I jump to Dan, I want to make sure that I emphasize this. Everybody in this first call out showed up in shape. Hassan, Brock, all of these guys truly stood out and truly showed their professionalism by controlling their variables and making sure that they show up at their best. I'm sure there's variables that they want to change or things that they can do to get better, but one thing that is truly within your control is showing up in shape, and everybody in this first call out did just that. So when it comes to pro shows, right, half this battle is controlling what you can control, right, and then landing that peak. And I truly believe this lineup, even though it might have not been as steep on paper, they showed up, they maximized their potential, and they gave a great show. And that's all you can ask for when it comes to being an IFBB or being a fan of this sport. Coming in at 6th place, we have Dan Ibrahim. Now, there's no question that this was a placing that I don't think any of us expected. Coming into this show, there was a lot of hype surrounding Dan, and for good reason. Dan has an extremely impressive physique. He is round, he is bubbly, he is heavily muscled, he has one of the best backs in the league, and he is somebody that has multiple different wow factors that makes it very hard to simply take your eyes off of him. The question coming into the show was not whether or not Dan looked good or not. If this was a show that was simply judged by standing still and just who had the most impressive physique, the reality is Dan would walk away with that. But when it comes to the men's physique division, there's a look, right? There's a standard that is being shown at the top level that they want to see trickle down. So when you ask yourselves, what is the standard of men's physique? Look at those at that top level. Look at Ryan Terry. Look at Aaron Banks. Look at Brandon Hendrickson. Look at the guys who are consistently placing in those top callouts and who have been placing in top shows for years. Andre Ferguson, right? All of these people are a good representation of what the division is looking for and consistently rewarding. Now, when you take Dan's physique and compare it to some of the guys at the top, what do you see? You see Dan has an extreme amount of muscle. You see Dan has bubbliness, roundness, and a freak factor that a lot of these guys just simply don't have. But you also see a more streamlined look at the top compared to what Dan brings, but also you see more of a flow in the physique from the waist all the way to the shoulders. Now, this is not to say that Dan doesn't have a small waist compared to his shoulders. Again, Dan is extremely wide. He is somebody that has probably the widest lats of anybody on this stage in most stages that he would step on, but it doesn't change the fact when you use your eyes, there's a look that is required to be competitive in the division. So just because you fit the weight cap, right? Just because you fit in a pair of board shorts, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are going to be competitive in men's physique. Let's dissect Dan's physique at the Tri-City Classic. Guys, let's first start off with the simple truth. Dan has the best back, not only on this stage, but probably in the entire league. I do believe he can fix his back pose just a little bit more, but when it comes to the density, when it comes to the width, there's nobody who can compare. Nobody. I don't care if you're talking about the Olympia stage or damn near in classic physique. Again, Dan is extremely impressive through the back, and again, he will expose a lot of people. In Dan's front shot, his shoulder to shoulder ratio is absolutely insane. This man has grown so much since his last stage appearance as a natural athlete at the Ben Wieters Natural. And it's safe to say that his genetic trait to grow muscle is just supreme. The fact that this is his first year ever being enhanced and he's been able to put on over 12 pounds of muscle is just something that needs to be talked about, because again, this is something that is just lights out. Dan is a young guy. He just turned 26. Now, for those of you who are unaware, you don't typically hit your genetic peak until you're in your 30s. Now, yes, they say 25, but I'm talking about that density and that roundness and that mature muscle that typically comes with age and time in the gym. Now, Dan, if you can see his obliques that kind of wrap down to his V-line and kind of encapsulate his abs, that's the one thing that he doesn't have, his serratus, right? He needs to continue to improve that, and that simply comes with time. So if you look at some of the guys on stage, simply showing the age and the maturity of their physiques is one thing that Dan still needs to get, and that's simply going to come with time. Again, if you take a look at my physique when I competed at the Olympia, I had the same issue, and I still have the same issue. When you're a young competitor and you had a quick rise, the reality is you're going to be standing next to individuals who have that density and that muscle maturity, and in order to compete with that, right, one, it's going to be time in the gym, and two, again, it's just going to be simply allowing your body to mature. And that's one thing that Dan needs to continue to do, which again will come. Here's a word from the man himself, Andre Ferguson. And I want you to note, he has been around this division since its origin. And he has seen the evolution of physiques that has gotten rewarded year over year.
Right? Jack weighs 222 pounds, right? Mm-hmm. Yo, you see how Jack still has more of the look?
Yeah, see, because it's the taper, bro.
It's the taper. It's the way it swipes in.
You see how this goes straight down and this goes in? Yeah. It's a difference.
Yo, he doesn't realize that how big his back is actually hurting. All right, so I'm going to tell you exactly what you do. Stop training your fucking back. Yo, Alex, everyone likes training their strengths because it feels good and it looks good and you know the pump is good and you know the connection's good. That's why we all love training our strength. That's why it's our strength, because we train it the best because it has the best mind muscle, so it gives us the most gratification. You know what I mean? I'm like, it just is what it is. But what people don't understand, when you're building a physique that belongs in a division, you have to build the physique that belongs in the division. No, that shit is impressive.
Exactly.
Like, look, I think this is what people can't get confused here. Nobody is saying this dude don't look fucking great. Yo, he fucking does. It's just not for this division.
So after the show, Dan made an Instagram post that gave us good insight on what he needs to prioritize in order to move up in the ranks. The competition is now over and I secured 6th place. Though it wasn't the outcome that I aimed for, the feedback I received was very valuable. It highlighted the need for some adjustments in my training. So basically reducing my arms size and increasing my leg mass to better align with the standard of men's physique. He goes on to say, I'm thankful for all the support that I received throughout my preparation. The support motivates me to refine my approach, come back even stronger, and here's to the next chapter, challenge, and journey ahead. Now, piece of advice from somebody who has had high expectations going into a show and feeling like they necessarily didn't deliver on those expectations. When I stepped off stage at the Chicago Pro, my world truly felt like it was crumbling. I felt like all eyes were on me and people were either pointing or laughing or, just preying on my downfall. And the reality is, at the end of the day, no one was more harsh, on myself than myself. And I want to truthfully let Dan know this, and I want to make sure that he is very aware that one show does not define who you are as a competitor, and certainly does not define who you are as a man. Dan, if you're listening to this, brother, you got so much potential, and the world knows it. Now, whether that's in men's physique or classic physique, it doesn't matter. When you are somebody who prepares the way that you do, who crosses all their T's, dot all their I's, and just simply does things the right way, that will eventually lead to a successful destination. So again, I want to emphasize this. For somebody who's been in your shoes, I'm telling you right now, this is just the beginning. Just keep your foot on the gas, and I promise you, man, your actions will eventually lead you to the true destination that we all know that you're destined for. I'll be honest, I'm a little hesitant to bring this topic up I've been getting a lot of questions over the last few hours about an amateur who stepped on stage at the Tri-City Classic, and what do I think about this current look, and what should the NPC do? Now, for those of you who are unaware, over the past few years, there has been a show that somebody has shown up out of shape, and it's been posted online. The person has been ridiculed, and the league has been ridiculed. There's been a lot of different ideas thrown in the mix of what they should do if this situation does happen. Now, I want to make something very clear. Nor does a lot of people know anything about this specific competitor's situation. For all that we know, he could have had the best transformation we have ever seen. He could have lost 200 pounds just to get to the stage, and he wanted to show off all of his hard work. Now, with that being said, there's still a standard that the NPC rewards, and I also don't want the competitors who did everything they could to meet that standard to feel overshadowed or disrespected by standing next to an individual who simply doesn't fit that standard that they reward when it comes to conditioning or just the general look of that category. But what I do think would be a really good idea, and I've seen it work at other shows, for example, the Summer Shredding Classic, is that the NPC should offer a transformation division, a division that highlights the hard work of those who lost a significant amount of weight and give them a platform to step on stage and show off their hard work. Because I guarantee if they offer something like that, then it would give a platform for those and even motivate those who want to step on stage to lose a significant amount of weight and show off all of their hard work. Because again, I understand that there's a standard and there's like a look when it comes to bodybuilding, but a bodybuilding is a community, right? And just because you might not be gifted with amazing genetics, or you had bad habits to start and you want to change that and use a stage to be a motivator, I don't think that should deter you. But I also don't think that stepping on stage next to somebody, who was inside out peeled is also going to do you justice. It's just going to allow other people to point and have, negative conversations about, you or what's going on. And I think that having a transformation division, at maybe 3 shows of the year, beginning, middle, and end, would give people some motivation to not only lose body fat, but also give them a platform to show off all of their hard work. And I've seen it work. And honestly, the transformation division is something special at Summer Shredding. And it's really cool to see the NPC adapt something like this, because again, it's just simply bringing together a broader community, and also has an opportunity to kind of streamline the industry and make in outside people who maybe have a negative connotation of what bodybuilding is, bring more eyes and change that perspective. So I'm curious, man. What do you guys think? Like, what would you do if you were standing on stage next to somebody who was out of shape? And what do you guys think about adding like a transformation division at some local shows throughout the year, just like they kind of did with the Natural Federation, adding natural leagues that goes through the NPC that allows those to step on stage who might not feel comfortable, taking enhancements. I think that if they can do that, they could also add a transformation category, and who knows, man, it can bring some good eyes and help the sport grow. If you or somebody is looking to step on stage for the first time, get naturally qualified, or earn your IFBB Pro card, or even lose body fat to step on stage at a transformation division, I am now taking on clients for the 2024 season. All you have to do is click the link below. Here, I'm gonna throw up some photos of some amazing transformations from some of my clients, and I can promise you this, it won't be easy, but from these photos, I can promise you this, it will be worth it. And what do you guys think about the Tri-City Classic results? Do you think that Dan should have placed higher, or do you think that he should shut it down and focus on growing into the Classic Physique division? And what do you guys think about this NPC competitor? Do you guys think that that NPC should allow him to step on stage, or do you think that they should give another division for him to compete in and show off all of his hard work? But with that being said, guys, as always, I appreciate you guys. The love on these videos have just been overwhelming. Thank you for the positivity. I love this division. We're going to do everything in our power to continue to push it forward. And as always, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys, and we will see you in the next video. Peace.